2 dragons, damn.
Okay, so now we have Mikado taking on Nico, the last hope of Team LSD. What? What?
LDS.
No! No! Look at the name! What
Never
the
mind.
fuck? Okay, I don't feel bad about saying LSD anymore.
Wow. Nova was saved.
I don't feel bad about saying Mikado, no. No, you don't do that. You don't do that yet.
He wants attackers and decks in. I don't mind.
No, the thing is you don't do that yet because it thins out the deck of how many Zorons you have for later. So when you actually start doing superior call chains, you don't have as many.
That is true, actually, yeah.
He had a Bruno in that top 3 check. He would have been way better off just calling that. And he gets literally nothing from doing chain calls right now because he didn't have anything on the field that gained power from it.
Well, the only thing that he did gain was the Dexon, but I do agree with you, it's better to save it for later. At least he has soul blasting effects to get Zoran back, so yeah.
Considering that I haven't seen unflip options in this deck yet, the odds of him actually being able to get the counterblast he needs to do that without Nico taking full advantage and critting the shit out of him are low.
We'll see. Nico's gonna rearguard hate first, and then
well, that's the Moose style. It's not bad. It's basically just the mentality of limit the number of attacks to increase your guard or decrease their hand, whichever comes first.
Yeah, I know.
And it makes sense.
Yeah, of course. I like it as well, personally. I use it when I need to use it.
It's honestly not what I like because usually, unless there's a strategic reason, the amount of time I spend hitting the rear guard, I could just spend hitting the vanguard, and then you'll have to intercept with those rear guards anyway. So they're gonna be gone no matter what. That's how I see it. But then again, I also play decks whose win conditions start kicking in when the opponent is at a certain damage threshold. So my main goal is usually to get them to that certain damage threshold. And Gold Paladins applies to that. Their win condition, more often than not, is when the opponent hits 3 to 4 damage, because you're not going to do Explosion Blue. I call it that because I'm not the one using it right now. You're usually not going to... You're more than likely not going to do that more than twice in a single turn. If you have the counterblast to do it more than that, then I commend you. But you're not going to do it more than twice in a turn, so you have to have them in at least 3 damage for it to kill. Also, we can't say anything about grade 2 game because Mikado literally antagonized this.
I don't know. I wouldn't grade 2 game Liberators. It's a deck, unless you know that they don't have like enough to do much, but they're still gonna crush you later.
I mean, you can look at this deck and immediately say that this deck can't do a lot against it. I mean, its grade 2 game is literally just call a bunch of units and hit. It doesn't gain the kind of advantages a grade 2 game usually does with Liberators, because if this was a grade 2 game with Liberators, it would have the Benius and the Bruno columns. It would be doing superior calls out the ass.
Yeah.
And the opponent just wouldn't have the hand to deal with it because they're not twin driving.
Yeah. But yeah, swinging at rear guards, I'm used to it. I've done it a lot of times myself. It slows the game down to your pace if you need to do it.
Well, the thing is, I guess my main thing is I don't like slowing the game down because I've never been a slow-paced fighter. And I usually don't play decks that are slow-paced.
It depends on the situation, really. I'm mostly saying it like if your opponent like commits a lot.
It's the preference of the fighter, because if there's a fighter or a deck who wants to slow things down, then it's great. It's the best thing you can do. Like in this situation here, this is an example of why you don't do it, because this is the damage difference. While Nico is spending all of his time attacking those rear guards, the damage difference became this.
All I'm gonna say to that situation is the fact that he shouldn't have grade 2 gamed this deck. And also,
It's
I
not
mean,
even a matter of grade 2 gaming. If he was really gonna
I
do
know.
that, he should have been hitting the Vanguard. He crit twice.
All I'm saying is, if he has the hand to set up for a situation, then he should be okay. But aside from that, I mean, I wouldn't slow down the game against Liberators myself, but if your opponent is like committing a lot of grade 2s early on just to push you, then I would swing at them more often than not just to either whittle his resources or keep the game in my favor. I'm not necessarily slowing down the game to the point where it's like a stall deck or a stall situation, just enough for me to survive and not get pushed every single turn. Because my opponent still has to commit more to keep that rush going.
I mean, if you're playing someone who's trying that hard to rush, then yes, that's a good idea. But at the same time, if you have the power to rush back, then what's gonna drop more hand? You rushing back when they commit their hand to rush, or you going for the rear guards and they replace?
Oh god, 2 Brunos, we got this.
2 Brunos with Prominence Core. Prominence Core is actually the better option when you have low counterblast because of its ability and how it works comparatively.
Trust me, bro. I played the deck for like freaking 3 years. It's just, yes, I got this. I swear though, at first I wasn't a core believer when it came to like my glare deck, but then over time I realized that I shouldn't. I
still don't use core and glare together specifically, just because they want opposite things. They legitimately want opposite things. Core wants to call grade 3s from the deck. Glare wants your grade 3s to be in hand so you can discard them. That's conflict. There's no way around that.
Here's the thing, though. I'm not playing it for the sole purpose of using Core's Legion skill. That's the thing. Core is there because if you have to ride Percival, you don't have a grade 2 game if you don't have Aglaville, or you don't have like the way to counter rush back if your opponent has a better setup than you.
Why?
I've run into so many situations.
I'm sorry to say this, but you're fucking wrong. Percival gains 2k when it's attacking the Vanguard, which means you put a 7k behind that. That's a 20k attack. Your opponent is grade 2 gaming, and suddenly they have to deal with 20k to a 9k Vanguard.
No, I'm saying like if they have enough rear guards, like if they have more rear guards to push you while you don't.
If they have more rear guards to push you when you don't, then you're basically fucked no matter what your Vanguard is, because Gold Paladins just don't deal with that well.
No, if you have core or glare, then you can essentially get some rear guards to fight back.
Not really, because they really don't plus with those superior calls. The only way that they plus with their superior, the only way that they plus the field with superior calls is with Aglavale. Otherwise, they just 1-for-1. At least with Percival, as soon as you do Legion skill, you're legitimately adding to the field, not just 1-for-1ing.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not doing it for the plussing. I'm doing it for just to be able to counter rush or keep my rush going in case it dies.
I'm just saying. All I'm asking is, how does Core or Glare do anything to rush when they have finite power? They're always going to be. It's always going to be 11k. With boost, at the most it'll be 18k because no one runs more than a 7k booster. Even if you do the skill to superior call stuff, it's not going to be as much as what Percival gets in terms of just raw attacking power, which is at the end of the day all you're really going to be doing in this situation.
I don't know, I wouldn't say that. You do have I'm not saying that raw power is not good or anything. All I'm saying is, with more rear guards, you have a better rush chance. Anyway,
1, 2, 3, 4. So that is
triple crit?
That is 5 damage in 1 attack.
What the hell?
I feel like Nova is cutting off at the perfect time because I don't want to know what he just said.
That is 5 damage in 1 attack.
What the hell?
That is the Kumi right there. That is the Kumi.
Wow. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Mikado. You've just been Kumi'd. Next game.
I'm sorry, Mikado. My God, what the hell?